Hello everyone, I've completely run out of ideas, so I've started roping in special guests from whoever I could find around the house. Today it's Katie, tomorrow it's Blarney. But we were talking a few days ago and you said something I thought was interesting and we decided to make a video about it.
Yeah, so recently I visited a practitioner and I was saying that I felt my issues had to get to a certain level of pronounced, or I was experiencing a certain level of discomfort before I went to visit the practitioner. And my thinking was that the practitioner is probably too busy to see me, that they have more urgent cases than me, and that if they're not seeing me because I wasn't quite suffering as what I thought enough, that they should just take a rest instead. And Anthony had something to say about this.
I think that's so empathetic of you, because definitely as a practitioner what we want is a series of crisis cases coming to us back to back.
I really need help now.
Yeah, absolute emergencies, just putting out fires everywhere. That's what makes us feel alive. I can understand why you think that, and I can't speak for every practitioner, but I can definitely speak for Chinese medicine and just from my own experience. So, first of all, we love when somebody comes to us and they're not in a crisis state. There's no good or bad here. You go see a practitioner when you need to see a practitioner. There's no judgment. But this kind of ties into something one of my patients asked me last week. So I prescribed herbs for this woman and she was getting on very well, and she's only a few weeks in, and she asked me in quite a worried voice, like, how long can I take these for? And I think what she was getting at is that she was worried that the herbs were kind of treating the symptoms, and that at a certain point I was going to kind of cut her off and the symptoms would come back. So that's not how we work. Chinese medicine has a concept called the Ben and the Biao. So that is the root and the branch of an illness. So, and again, as we always say, Chinese herb medicine is about formulas, not individual herbs. So when somebody comes in, they might have a few conditions going on. We prescribe them a formula. Within that formula is the concept of treating the root and the branch. When somebody comes to us first, we do a lot of work on the branch, which is the acute symptoms. That is how they're presenting. They could be in acute pain, they could be debilitated by migraines, they could have movement impaired, they could have like really heavy bleeding or something like that. So these are all issues that need to be dealt with like immediately, because they're really affecting your quality of life. But then at the same time, we're also treating the root. And over time, what we do is when you come to us, it might be like 70% on the branch, the symptoms, and 30% on the root, the root. And then over time, we shift those. And sometimes it involves changing herbs, and sometimes it's just dosage, because these ancient formulas are put together in very, very clever ways where you can just adjust the dosages of the herbs, and you shift the focus from the acute symptoms to the underlying syndrome. The other thing is, just to do with like the psychology of practitioners, if you're talking about like minding the energy of a practitioner, which I think is what you're going to, which is great. Just as a practitioner, I love it when somebody comes in and they're not acute, where I don't have to get results in like a day or two, and we actually can like really work on the root of whatever is going on with them, or even get ahead of things that haven't manifested yet. As a practitioner, that's quite satisfying, and it's also not as emotionally and just like physically draining as like really being under pressure and on the clock. It's actually a gift to a practitioner if you go to them in a non-acute state, and we can do an awful lot of work.
If you go to a practitioner and you don't have branch, like your branch isn't super long or there's no leaves on it, will you still be able to see what my root
this is
issues
what
are?
Like I was kind of talking about the 4 levels of illness, and we would say that there's stuff manifesting on a chi level probably. So you might have signs but not symptoms.
So like, maybe when you're taking my pulse,
tongue or pulse will reveal stuff, and you might find things like, the tip of my nose gets very cold, or I have itchy ears, stuff like this, which is not exactly like a debilitating symptom, but they're just indicators that there's something there that we could maybe get ahead of. And then even before, like at certain times a year in China, people will just get herbs because they know it's a good time to get herbs. And like we said, the tongue and the pulse can reveal things that haven't manifested yet. So yeah, really, really helpful. Does that answer?
That's good to know that I'm not burdening my practitioner with. No.
It's very sweet. It's a very sweet way to think.
I think a good few people do think like this, that you're anticipating making space for the practitioner. But it's, thank you for the encouragement to be seen whenever I feel like it.
And the other thing is, it is the practitioner's job to mind their own mental and physical health, not yours. So,
what job do I do then?
And I say that as a practitioner that absolutely doesn't mind his, but we're meant to be. We're meant to be. Okay, that's it. Thank you, Katie, for making a special guest appearance in our living room.
Thank you for answering my question.